What's up, guys? YGO Strats coming at you with a Gateway 6-SAM Ouroboros spam loop. The reason Gateway isn't playable in the TCG these days, really. I'm not including this in the single card discussions Gateway the 6 video, even though it's technically a part of it, just because I found the editing I did in the Tengu version was a little meh. But we'll get right into this. For the Gateway loop, what you're going to need is you're going to need one copy of Gateway, and then any other 2 or more copies of cards to get you 4 counters from every summon of a samurai. So the important thing is that you get 4 counters to use the effect to add a 6 samurai from the grave or deck to your hand. And then I'm using 2 copies of 6 Samurai United. If you could just have 2 gateways and that would be fine. Or there's like Shien's Dojo, all that nonsense. This is a quote-unquote more realistic play, I guess, arguably. Whatever. The other key piece is that you'll use Hand of the 6 Samurai. No, I forgot to draw. Very important. Shape Snatch. So what you do is you normal summon Hand and you use Gateway's effect. You're going to get 4 counters on board total, 2 on Gateway and 2 wherever else. In my case, 1 on each United. So I use Gateway's effect, I take away all my counters, and I get to search out a copy of Legendary 6 Samurai Kizan. Very competitive samurai build here, as you can see. Kizan's effect is that you can special summon him while you have another face-up 6 samurai on board, so we'll special summon him. Then we use Gateway's effect, we get 4 counters, and we search out more. I'm going to just cut it because there's no sense in going over and over it. You add a Kizan, special summon it, get 4 tokens, add 1, summon it, get 4 tokens. And then the key here is that when you get this last Kizan from adding it to your hand and special summoning it, you're going to get another 4 tokens. And I'm just using this to illustrate it later on if it isn't clear. So we've got 4 monsters on board against their 1 Hungry Burger, so OP. And what we do is we overlay into Ouroboros. So Ouroboros is the problem card in this loop, so to say, if you're ignoring Gateway, which is the obvious problem card. He has 3 effects, and you can either bounce, banish, or discard, depending on what's up. So in this case, I'm going to bounce their Hungry Burger. So their Hungry Burger is gone. Then I'm going to use Gateway's effect again, and this is where the problem comes in. You can only use Ouroboros' effects, one of them per turn with that copy on board. So we add the Kizan that went to the grave to activate Ouroboros' effect to our hand, special summon it, we got 4 more tokens, counters, and then we can use Hand of the 6 Samurai's effect. So we use her effect while I have another face-up 6 Samurai monster on my board. I can tribute 1 monster and destroy... Tribute 1 6 Samurai and destroy a monster on the field. So I tribute my Kizan and pop Ouroboros. And so then I've got 4 counters again. I'll remove my 4 counters and I get a Kizan back from the graveyard. And I do this 3 times. So I've got all my Kizans back on board. And then I've got 4 more counters again from summoning the last Kizan. And so I overlay into another copy of Ouroboros. And then we just kind of rinse and repeat. We're going to detach 1. I'm going to bounce that. It's going to go right into his hand. I'm going to use Hand of the 6 Samurai's effect. Special summon this Kizan ultimately from my hand. Tribute it. Kill the Ouroboros. Pull out another Ouroboros. And actually this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard those cards from my opponent's hand now. So we overlay into the 3rd copy of Ouroboros. We use its effect. Detach. Now he's got to discard that card. And what did I pick? Oh, Hungry Burger! Fucking right. So... Hand of the 6 Samurai's effect, all that fun shenanigans, that's clearly so fun to play against. Tribute this, pop that, or vice versa, and then actually we're going to get them all out again. And now you're like, well, that's the worst it can do because your Ouroboroses are gone. But actually what we're going to do, we're going to overlay into Daigusto Emerald here, and use Daigusto Emerald's effect to detach one Keyzan. And we're going to actually put all 3 Ouroboros back in the extra deck. And so now I've got all my Ouroboroses again. I use Hands effect. I'm going to pop Keyzan to pop Emerald. I'm going to get all of them back because every time I summon a Keyzan, I get my Keyzan back. Boom. And then we're going to go through all of this again. And so I've got 3 Ouroboroses in my deck. He's got 3 cards in his hand, as you can see. So to speed this video along, I'm just going to put these 3 in the grave. And that will be his entire board and his entire hand. So that alone is just obnoxious that he's got no board, he's got no hand, and I've got all this advantage. I can end my board with having 3 Keyzans on board again. And so I can do more. I can get more Keyzans back. Obviously, this is more or less an OTK, 21, 21, 21, 16. And with counters, I can boost up one of them by 500. But if we overlay back into Daigusto Emerald, so like that, Emerald's back on board, detach for its effect, get my 3 Emeralds back in the extra deck, I can actually start summoning them again, and I'll start banishing these cards from the graveyard. So we use this pop, special summon these Keyzans again, because every time we summon one, we're getting it back from Gateway's effect, and then we can start to banish the cards in their graveyard. And with my Emerald, I'm actually going to be able to do this and have 1 card extra in this case. So if they played something and searched something out, I can still get rid of it. So we detach, and we're going to banish that Hungry Burger. That is the problem card here. And we can just keep doing this over and over again, and so it's going to get to the point where it's like more of an insult than the wind-up loop almost, just because it's not even that you don't have a hand, it's that you're not going to have a graveyard either. So even if they start plussing off of graveyard effects, it's not going to make too much of a difference because I'm going to banish everything anyways. And yeah, that's really all I'm going to do, because there's no point in going over this. I mean, if you actually did this in real life and you're putting the counters on every time you summon it, you're going to have to, put the counters on and remove the counters. But I think it's pretty clear to see why this got banned, why Gateway was the problem card here. I joked that it was Ouroboros. Don't take that seriously. Gateway's the problem card in this combo, because it's just infinite Keyzans is what it is. And you might say, well, Keyzan's the problem because he can special summon himself, but like it's Gateway, because Gateway's netting you all of this advantage. Gateway doesn't have or Keyzan doesn't have a recycle. It's this guy right here, Gateway, the 6. And that's going to be our conclusion of this video. I don't need to drag this out any longer than it needs to be. I might make this a small series where I go over like past OTKs and FTKs and loops and all that nonsense. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that fun jazz. And we'll see you next time on YGO Strats.